everybody, welcome back. I am Joe the Widget, and I am joined by my amazing, spectacular co-host, starting with High Noon Rook.
What's up, everybody? Everybody knows we make the show, not Widget. Anyway, let's get to it.
I just do the background stuff. I make it look pretty. We got Mr. Deep Core Archon.
Deep Core. That's me.
All right, guys. So we got a good show for you. We finished out the contest. The votes are in. We have winners and a winner and runner-up. Well, kind of one or two runners depending how we decide to do it. But anyway, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about how to, like, the best ship parts for your ship and where you can get them and what's required to get them. Talk a little bit about that. And we got a little something in the news. What's up with that?
Well, after a long period of silence, Bethesda finally talked about their new patch that's coming out soon. The DLSS 3 support is coming in a beta patch. Unfortunately, that's only coming for Steam users at first. PC gamers can try out the official Starfield DLSS patch starting next week, which will support NVIDIA graphics upscaling tech by opting into that beta program via Steam next week. So if you want to get in on it, you got to play on Steam, and you can check it out.
And neither of us play on Steam. None of us do.
None of us do, no.
But
no, we all use the Xbox app.
And I use NVIDIA, and I've been extremely excited for this upscaling because it's going to make my game look so much better and run so much better.
Oh, I know.
But I can't. I also am kind of disappointed because I've been really looking forward to that content patch, getting that new content in. Well,
if it's in beta now, I'm pretty sure it won't be long before we get it as well. I'm kind of surprised they brought it to Steam first, though, considering Steam was the last platform that they brought the game to.
It's probably just, it's easier to opt into beta, a lot less red tape to go through for testing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Looking through the article, though, they are also talking about content patch coming soon. So that's not too far off on the horizon. And also, there was mention in there about the first expansion, the Shattered Space expansion. They said that's actually a lot sooner than we think it is. When it is, I don't know.
Well, my prediction is that... I can talk. Prediction is probably at the end of first quarter next year, which would be around March. Late March, early April.
See, that would be my thought, too, but they're saying it's sooner than that. Like, they're saying like it's a lot sooner than we think it's going to be.
What's your prediction, Rook?
Christmas.
That would be cool.
I would not leave that idea out because Microsoft is known for doing that. So
that would be awesome.
My only thing with that is I think that that's probably when we'll get the next content patch, sometime around Christmas. And then I think it'll probably be probably February or March before the actual expansion.
I'm thinking sometime mid this month for the content patch.
You can't talk
and
either.
Then I know I forgot how to English.
Well, if it was mid this month though, then they would probably be betaing that, wouldn't they?
No, not necessarily. Bethesda's really good at doing their surprises, and they've been doing a lot of like surprise releases. Like, well, we've been waiting for this game for years. Oh, but guess what? It's coming out next month. Mm-hmm. At their conventions, they always do that, and they do a lot of in-house testing. I've seen their testing facility, and it is quite large. They have a very large in-house testing support system, and with the type of games that they build, they need it.
That's fair.
True. So true.
That is fair.
Yeah, I can talk about what I'm looking forward to and what I can't wait for. Like, we know for sure that at the beginning of next year, they're going to be Really, I can't speakity talk. Next year, they're going to be putting out the Creators Pack. So we're going to get a lot of solid content from that. I know a lot of popular creators that worked on Skyrim and Fallout have been already planning and building their content creations, their content mods. Why can't I think today? It's like my brain decided to shut off when we hit record.
Yeah, I think that they'll probably release that before the expansion, to be honest.
That's kind of what my train of thought was. I mean, Christmas makes total sense, Rook. That's a money hit. I mean, I know we already have it coming. We bought the early release. We got that already, but
edition, yeah.
a lot of people didn't. And a lot of people did the subscription, which we talked about last week, how that was like their biggest subscriptions ever for Microsoft, and largely due to Starfield. So those people are going to have to pay for the expansion. So I think that's viable, very viable. But my train of thought is similar to Archon, where they're going to release the creator content first and then release the expansion after.
So, because I can't remember on Fallout 4, what came first, the creator content or the first expansion?
That's a good question. I can't speak on Fallout 4 so much. Skyrim, they had, I believe, 2 expansions come out before they released the creator content. But that was the first game they really did that.
You know, if Microsoft and Bethesda were smart, what they would do is at the end of this month, take Starfield off Game Pass. So that anybody who wanted to keep buying it had to get it for Christmas.
That is evil. They wouldn't do that.
And release a content patch so that people want to come back and play it that aren't playing it anymore. But
Bethesda would have a few words to say about that. They wouldn't do that.
Okay, so I got the answer.
Yeah?
The first expansion pack for Fallout 4 came out March 22nd, 2016. The creation kit came out April of 2016.
Okay.
So they came out really close to each other.
Yeah,
if
back
they hold
to back.
if they hold true to that with the creator content, I could see coming out early next year.
I don't think they're going to go past first quarter. I think that would be a really bad business move on their end. Mm-hmm. And from what I've been hearing, that expansion's pretty much done. It's in testing phase. So there you go. All right, so let's get into our weeks, guys. What have you guys been doing in game?
Well, I didn't play so much. Have a lot going on in real life, so
happens.
Let's see. I got married.
One of us every week just has a busy week.
How dare we have a real life and not just focus on Starfield? I got married to Sam. It was more of a homely wedding.
I forgot to get you the wedding gift.
I continued on with the UC quest. We're all the way up to the point to where you killed Terramorphs on New Atlantis. That one was a little tricky because I had an EM pistol and it was a pain in the butt to knock people out with.
Is this your first time doing this quest line?
No, I did it with my main character. Then the game bugged out on me.
Yeah, so I'm actually right behind you on that. So you're going to relate to what I have to say later on. But yeah, continue.
Mm-hmm. Where you go and talk to the cabinet and talk to the president. I actually ended up getting an interesting response because I went for the credits and housing option and she didn't bat an eye.
No,
that was interesting. Yeah. She didn't, the tone of her voice didn't change, nothing. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, this is also the first time where I failed trying to convince the FC ambassador. So that was a little different. And then I actually had my first piece of information and you look up for Varun in the embassy. I read through the ambassador's files and saw the name Dazra. Someone looked that up.
See, I wasn't going to do that if you didn't, so I'm glad you did.
And then finally, I entered a system with spacers harassing a merchant, and as soon as they realized I was in the Razor Relief, even though I modified it and it's no longer the Razor Relief, they turned blue, and one of them literally ran away.
Yeah.
He jumped out. But it was interesting, and the reason why I brought this up is because the merchant ship was awestruck by being saved by the Mantis. So it was a very interesting conversation.
I've had that happen a couple times. It's a lot of fun when that happens. Annoying because I want to take those ships out.
Well, they turn blue on me and I can still attack them. I just found this one interesting because it's the first one I had where they actually jumped out of system.
Yeah, see, like last week when I had that first encounter with the sea shanties, you guys were harassing me about it, but the game's so random. Like, I've had that experience happen probably 3 or 4 times per playthrough. Yeah, I don't have other things that you guys have seen a lot.
Right after we had that episode, I hit the Valentine 5 times.
See, I haven't seen him or heard from him again.
Yeah, I've seen him a few times since that conversation as well. That's just so RNG.
Yeah. So that's pretty much been my playthrough for the week. Like I said, I didn't get a lot of time in, and this week I'm not expecting a lot of time either.
Oh no. Well, this week I did what I said I was going to do last week. I started my character using my controller only. I made a female with the soldier background. I took the adoring fan, wanted, and UC traits. I got through the intro area pretty quick.
I have the adoring fan on my ship. I'm already ready to shoot him.
Yeah, I haven't run into him quite yet. Like, I haven't quite got far enough to have to deal with him yet. But yeah, I got through the little intro pretty easy. The ship piloting, I have to say, I really enjoy ship piloting with the controller. It feels so much more natural than the keyboard does. Feels more like you're piloting the ship than just playing the game.
Yeah. Every time I played a game on my PC that requires driving, I used to hook up a controller and use that instead. Because it does feel more intuitive than keyboard and mouse.
So when I ended up getting to Crete on the first main mission thing, I decided that I was just going to get used to the controller, run around, explore Crete as much as I could possibly explore Crete. I went to the little place you're supposed to, and then I was like, nah, let's go explore more. So I went out and I found a whole bunch of different areas. I found this little convoy train that I had never seen before.
A convoy train?
There was just, it was called a, when you get to the area, it says it's called a convoy train, and it's just like a whole bunch of little like vehicle type ships that have like supplies and stuff all over them, and there's a bunch of crates and stuff you can open. And then as I was heading like kind of back toward the main facility, I've encountered this little event that I had never seen before. That, you know, when you're going through the first place on Crete, they're like, the Terramorph, it's escaping! Get it! Ah! Well, I found the Terramorph. And there was a bunch of spacers fighting it, and it was a level 10. It was called an Alpha Terramorph, and I had to fight it. And while you're fighting it, it's like talking to you, like through telekinesis. Like you keep hearing it in your head, and it's like telling you, they're trying to hurt me. Help me stop them. And like it's like it almost sounds like this little kid's voice, and it's really, really trippy. And like when you kill him, I mean, it's just like it is a normal Terramorph. All the spacers then turn on you and kill you, and it was really cool. Like I'd never seen him.
Very interesting. Now you're making me tempted on my new character just to skip the main quest a little bit and go explore first, and before I do it. Because I never even knew that stuff was there. And I thought when you said a convoy train, I was actually picturing an actual train on planet. And I was like, well, that'd be a first.
No, it's just like a bunch of different little vehicles. But like, yeah, it was really cool. I've never had an experience with a Terramorph where they get inside your head and start talking to you, though. It was really weird.
Have you done the UC quest?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Then when you fight the Terramorphs in New Atlantis, they're talking to you.
Oh,
in
yes.
your head.
Yeah, they have that psychic ability that tries to control you.
See, I always thought that was like the other soldiers in the area.
No, that's them talking to you.
Yep.
But this sounds kind of like almost like a young girl's voice in my head. That was like every time it'd talk, like the screen would shake a little bit. I was like, is that the Terramorph talking to me? And then just the things he was saying made you think, yeah, it's them. I was like, wow, this is really neat. So here I am, a level 2, fighting this level 10 elite Terramorph, but I managed to kill it. I noticed that with Terramorphs, if you use your cutter and aim with it so that you do like the extra damage with it, it just eats through Terramorphs.
So higher level Terramorphs, I found the cutter not to be effective.
Oh,
but then again, higher level Terramorphs, it's really hard to kill them.
The only thing effective with them is an automatic like minigun.
Actually, surprisingly, my pistols did a good job.
The Revenant,
yeah,
the Revenant eats everything. But I also found another spot that was called the Deep Core Cave. It looked a lot like one of the quest caves that you find later on, but there's no like bottom to it and no place where you find an artifact. It's just a big cave that you go down and just kill a bunch of mobs.
I've seen a few of those.
Ton of loot. Yeah, I found a ton of loot in there. I did notice that ground combat, I don't know if I'm just like not used to the controller yet, but it seems a lot easier on the keyboard.
Well, that's always the case with keyboard and mouse. I mean, when it comes to any kind of like first-person shooter or something like that, it's a lot more accurate and precise with a keyboard and mouse.
Where you want to shoot, so it's a lot harder to aim with the controller, which is kind of what I was expecting. I think as I play a little bit more, like Call of Duty, anytime I play a Call of Duty after a long time, I am terrible, but then I get pretty good at it once I play more. So I think the further I get in, the better the controls will feel. Just like the space, for sure. Anytime I'm in my ship, it feels so good to have the controller. It just, the movement controls, like any of your commands and stuff, I mean, they just kind of seem pretty even across the board. Like, just walking around and stuff, it's just as easy with the keyboard as it is with the controller. I don't really see like a definite, I like this better than the other type of thing yet, but the controller is kind of growing on me because I like being able to just like, have everything, have my curved monitor around me, kick back in my chair with the controller and just like immerse myself rather than having to be all hunched forward over my keyboard and stuff. So
ever hear of this
kind of like that.
This skit group that they're called Viva La Dirt League on YouTube?
Okay.
If you haven't, you gotta check them out because their RPG series is freaking hilarious. And one of the things they do is they did a skit for a comparison where they're the MMORPG that they made up for their skits. They incorporated cross-platform play. So this PC player was coming across this Xbox player, and his guy is just sitting there trying to aim at him, just threatening him, "I'm going to kill you," as he's trying to shoot his bow and missing everywhere. And the PC player walks up to him and just knocks him out. Master race. Anyway, you had to have been there.
The controllers are awesome and all, but I have a throttle and stick assembly right next to me, mounted to my desk, that I can't use, and it's frustrating. Because I love space sims and flight sims, and that's what I normally fly with.
It'd be interesting to try and play it with like a throttle stick.
It is interesting because with the dynamics of how this game is in space, you could set up the keys to be able to do all your 360 movements. Just pushing a button.
It'd be cool if you could set it up to where only when you sat down in your cockpit does it activate your flight control.
That would be cool.
Wonder if you could program that. You probably could. You could create a hook. I'll have to think about it.
Elite Dangerous has that set up to where while you're in your ship, you're flying around, and if you get out of your ship, it'll jump to. You can set it up to where, in their options, they have vehicle operations and ground operations. You can set your ground operations to mouse and keyboard, and your vehicle operations to the joysticks.
There is a split like that in Skyrim. I don't know if you can set peripherals though.
I'll have to look.
That'd be pretty cool. I have to get a flight set up for that.
Should get it anyway so we can play DCS.
Yeah, you're right. All right, anything more, Archon?
No, that was pretty much. I made it as far as getting to the gosh, now words escaping me. Constellation. Once you get to Constellation, to the base there, and that's as far as I got so far.
It's contagious, man. It's spreading. Started with me, went to Rook, now went to you. We're doomed. My week was actually pretty much a blend of you guys. On my new character, I decided, after I got my first power, which I finally got, I decided to go and do UC because I want that armor. And I wanted that machine gun. But with my guy, I am focusing more on lasers like I said I was going to do. And it's actually been very amusing doing that route. I'm not sure 100% which I like best yet, but I do have a sniper rifle. I have an old Earth hunting rifle, which I'm not going to put sneak on this guy. Debating on that. And one thing I forgot to do was put points into my digipick for security. So I'm a little bit far in. I'm level 26, I think, and I only have 2 points into it, which kind of sucks. So I got to get that leveled up. So I decided once I started the UC quest, you go into the flight sim. I saved up 3 points so I can get my piloting up and use that just to level up my piloting. Well, after on the second run through, when I was going back into the simulator, I noticed the computer on the right-hand side before you get into the cockpit. It's the first time I've seen this. Like, okay, what's this? I went and looked at it and said, it can only be used while in combat or when enemies spawn. So I went in there and I got down to I've never beat step 6. So, and I always did it on normal or hard. And for some reason, they always overwhelmed me. The best I ever got before that was just 3 remaining. But I got up as soon as the last set started, went to that computer and found out that the debug tools increase all my goodies on my ship. And then I also realized that once you hack it, instead of it only just being for one, why am I thinking zone? It's not zones, it's event, it's the step or stage. Yeah, tier. It only works for one tier unless you hack it. Then you can hack it for all the tiers, and you can get a buddy to come help you. So I wound up beating tier 6 pretty easily after that. And I was going through, and I got through my 3 steps of my 3 tiers of piloting pretty easily. Maxed it out pretty quick. When you're able to go through all 6 tiers, it makes it really easy. And the funny thing about this also is I went down to get my grading, and I got extra points for not only doing all the way beating tier 6, but also for finding the debug tool, using it, and hacking it. It was, I guess you're supposed to find it for extra credit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
By the way, I already knew about that. I did it with this bounty hunter.
Of course you did.
I did not.
I happened to be just like Joe. I went into the computer. I'm like, what's this for? And then when I got to tier 4 is when I activated it for me.
So I thought it'd be great. If you guys don't know about it, now you do. So you can go in there and do your piloting, do your exam, and get all the way to tier 6. Because what he says, the recruiter, at the end of that's awesome. He gets so excited and like mind blown that you're this ace pilot and you did everything you're supposed to and you hacked it and you knew you were thinking outside the box. And I got a whole lot more credits.
You being the overachiever that I am, like I never knew about the debug mode, but I beat tier 6 just on my own. So
we happened to notice it when you're running into the cockpit. So it was just one of those. I'm so used to activating every computer I see now, so I saw it and activated it.
Yeah, I got really curious. I'm like, am I going to get in trouble for doing this? Am I going to fail the exam?
So did I. I was worried that when I went through it, that I was like, crap, am I going to fail? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I got 24,800 credits for a low-level character for completing that. That was more than double what I got for signing bonus not doing that and finishing on tier 5. And it was a 3 years to citizenship, which is, I guess a fast track because I did so well. Before it was 6 years.
I've never gotten higher than 10 years or lower than 10 years.
Yeah, mine was 3 years as well.
So I got the 3 years and the almost 25,000 credits, and I'm low level. That's cha-ching. I was ecstatic. Let me see. What was the next thing I was going to talk about? Oh, yes. When you get your first trial mission at UC, which is pretty much the first thing I did after this, where you first encounter the Terramorph, and you're supposed to sneak through it and activate the turrets and put it through kill lanes. Yeah, I wasn't sneaking at all. So the Terramorph popped up right after I activated the computer on me, and I wound up killing it, fighting it in a little tiny room, the map room, with a shotgun. It took me 5-6 minutes, but I took the thing down, and it barely took any life off of me. And the lady, when you go up to her without doing the turret, she's like, well, I lost track of the Terramorph. I don't know what happened to it. Wait, did you just... Yeah, she's
I'll have to try that with my next character.
Blown away that I killed it on my own without anything. And it made that quest so much quicker.
A lot quicker.
And the Terramorph didn't try talking to me.
That Terramorph I've never had tried talking to me.
Yeah, I think that's before they introduced the whole psychic connection thing. But at the beginning of that mission, there was a small little building at the base before you go into the main complex. I went in there and decided to loot around on it because I've been going for food. And I found a magazine. Now, this magazine was your typical add 2% to bladed weapons, whatever. It was the New Atlantean Gourmet Living, and it granted me a food recipe called the Deep. So, of course, right upstairs is the kitchen, and went up there and tried cooking it, and it restores 20 health, but I'm still, I got one more point to put in, and I can get the skill that gives me more from eating food, more benefits. So I'm going to see how much better that is. Because if it does double that, that's pretty close to a med pack.
Was it gourmet?
Gourmet. It was gourmet, sir. Gourmet. So yeah, that was like the most interesting things I've done so far. I'm still going to continue the UC quest, and now I'm going to start looking around, especially when we go into the graveyard for the mechs. I'm going to explore around that a lot more and see what I can come up, and I'm even going to try to get more of those mech battery parts. Make a couple of those, make some cha-ching off of that, because I have been suffering from money, and I've been wanting to build a ship so bad.
Do you have an outpost yet?
Yes, Bezel 3B.
That's where all the money comes from.
Last episode, I don't make much money off of it. I've got
They say the batteries are the best way to make money if you could get the recipe for it.
Yeah, which you get it from doing this UC questline. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend some time, and I'm going to make some money off of that. But I used Bezel 3 because I needed some skill points. I was behind, man. I had things to get.
I will be building a new exploration character here soon.
Yeah? What are you thinking about doing with it?
I'm thinking about, instead of picking Explorer, I'm going to pick Soldier, and I've been probably going to do, to give myself a disadvantage when exploring, I'm going to do Spacer.
Okay.
And then I'm not sure what other traits I want yet. Probably Wanted, just because everybody else except for me has done it.
It's interesting when you get it
right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what other traits I want to run yet. I'm still trying to figure out the traits.
I have the Adoring. Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say I've already been attacked by bounty hunters on Crete when I was there exploring around. Bounty hunters came after me.
They actually went on you after you on the ground?
Yeah.
Jeez, that's super rare.
I saw the ship land, and I went over to try and steal the ship, and then they came out and they're like, "Oh, there's a bounty on you, and we're here to collect." And I told them to shut up and start fighting. So
click, bring it.
Yeah.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Might do Introvert, just for fun, since I haven't done it yet. Dream Home. And Space.
That's a nice house. You get a nice house from that.
I've really enjoyed the perk for empathy. Empath?
I haven't ran Empath yet. What's that one do?
Well, if your companion agrees with you, because I'm running Empath with Extrovert, so I get double benefit from having a companion with me. When you're in conversation, if they like something, it gives you a pretty wicked bonus, a buff. But if they dislike something you said, it's a wicked debuff. So, I mean, if you play this game enough, you kind of know what you need to say anyway to make them like it. Mm-hmm. So I've been getting this constant half-hour buff with Barrett, because Barrett likes everything I do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I figured out something with Barrett. So, okay, here's my theory. He's really crappy in combat. He's almost killed me 6 times with grenades that were thrown at my back. Can't hit nothing at all, even I give him upgraded weapons. But there's one point, not really no spoiler yet at this time, but Barrett gets a power. So I'm wondering if he completely changes his combat strategy, because I'm not going to say what that power is or what it does, but when he gets that. So I'm going to get him to that point and find that out. I'm actually got to the point in his story where I'm doing his main story now, where I have to do a quest for him. It's interesting.
Well, one of the powers, if I remember right, you can only get through a quest from Barrett. Like one of the first 24, it's from a quest with him.
He gets the power, you don't.
When
I did it, that's what happened.
One of the 24 you can only get, unless you accidentally found that one. But there is one of the powers that a quest from him leads you to. But it makes sense because, okay, so out of everyone in Constellation, if you remember in the main story, the only
He's
other
the only
person
one that touched it.
he's the only other person who got some weird thing happen when he touched it.
We're the only two that have touched him first. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that if one of the other ones also touched one first and got that vision, I'm pretty sure they'd be able to get the powers too. But that's not in the story yet. As far as I know, only one is Barrett.
Didn't that Mateo guy touch one too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I remember.
Pretty sure when you go to get it from him on that ship, he says something about like it gave him some weird trip and we could go ahead and take it.
Oh, yeah, him. Yeah, I think his did trigger. And also when you're in Neon, that one doesn't trigger a thing for you. So somebody's already touched that one too.
Probably one of the bad guys.
Probably.
You're getting it from a douchey dude, so
yeah.
Guarantee you he touched it at some point. All right, guys, so do you want to get into the ship parts, or do you want to talk about our contest? I'm leaving that to you.
I say contest first, and then we'll roll into the ship parts.
All right. Who wants to take the lead on this one? All right, so our contest went off pretty well. We had some good, really, really good submissions on our Discord. Thank you to everyone who participated. We really appreciate it.
We spent a good half hour, 45 minutes, heck, arguing at times over who we wanted to be the winner because they were so close. There were a few of them that were really close.
Yeah, and the two that were really close that we had mixed votes on was one of them was
8-Bit Oliver, runner up. We really, really enjoyed his ship. For me, I really liked the way he built it. I still, these guys tell me it's possible, but I still don't understand how he got his to have so much mobility.
The SAL 6830 engines you get from the Stroud mission if you do it a certain way.
I have those engines, and still
apparently not.
Yeah, because you do.
That much mobility, that's just crazy.
I used the step down with that much, with almost that much weight. The step down below those ones, and I got 100 mobility, maxing them out. It's possible.
Now, to me, 8-Bit Oliver was my winner, but I digress. There's 3 of us. 2 of them voted for the next person. I didn't. So
it was really close for me between 8-Bit and the winner. It really was. There was just one thing that kind of put the winner over the edge for me. 8-Bit had really cool specs on his ship. He did a very, very good job with it, designing the actual functionality of the ship.
For me, I would have put 8-Bit the winner if he would have had like a really cool color scheme or something.
Yours was all color scheme.
just like it looked like he put a lot of effort into building the ship and reaching the requirements, but
peeking out everything.
But not enough effort in the
actual aesthetics.
Making it look sweet and stand out.
Boone did that though. He had a
Boone's ship was cool.
He was in the running.
Really cool.
He was my number 2.
Yeah.
He was my number 2 as well. Well, tied for 2, I guess we'll say, because him and Oliver were neck and neck for me. I really liked his as well. Like the color scheme was really nice. Really liked the red and black.
It was a sleek design. I liked it. But again, it was a little bit too
basic
for me.
It looked a lot like another submission too. Yeah. Like they were very similar.
Boone was my number 3. 8-Bit was my number 2. And the winner is
was Javon.
Javon took the win.
And the reason why I chose him as my number 1 was because his was stand out above all the other ones, the most unique. I loved what he did. The color scheme was really awesome. He made it look like basically 2 ships flying next to each other, attached in the middle. To me, it kind of looked like a ladybug and like a wasp flying.
Yeah, it kind of did. And he separated the color schemes between the 2 sides.
And it wasn't like perfectly symmetrical. It was like, I don't know. It caught my eye immediately. As soon as I saw it, I was like, whoa, that's really cool.
The engines, the way he placed them was really cool. Yeah, and the way he even joined the two halves. So it's still clearly this one ship, but still, like you said, it looks like two separate at the same time.
Right, and where he joined them is kind of like all like black, so it doesn't even almost doesn't even look like they're joined.
So for me, his uniqueness stood out, but that was it. I'm not a fan of the design myself, but then again, I am really strict on my ship designs. I like the more battleship style or fighter styles.
And when we do the fighter contest eventually down the road, I think we're going to have some fun with that.
Yeah.
But to me, Javon didn't beat Boone because of ship specs. And that was it. That's why Boone is my number 2 and Javon's my number 3.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, Javon, so I will be reaching out to you in Discord to get your information to where I can send you a signed copy of the book.
Congratulations on winning our first contest.
Yeah, well, we've already been getting ideas from other people inside Discord for contest ideas.
Yeah, more content to do in the future. And
a lot of them are, at least one or two of them that I've seen have said more theme builds for the ships.
Yeah, do like a fighter ship, or even I think one thing personally for me would be like a really cool like outpost build. That would
yeah. That's something we could definitely do, an outpost contest.
Yeah.
I would love to do one that's all about like the aesthetic around the outpost, and designing an outpost that kind of fits for that.
Yep. Aesthetic and functionality.
Yeah.
Like
can't just be the base. You have to have actual functioning to it while having the right scenery. So yeah, that'd be really cool. But speaking about ships, guys. We compiled a list of arguably the best parts based on spec and what they do for your ship. And there's not all of them here, but the big ones are here. And the first one, obviously, is going to be the engines. I'm going to let Rook take this one away because he knows a lot about these.
All right, so these are the SAL 6830s. You can easily get the SAL 6330s, which at a certain level unlock, which is probably what Archon is running.
That's what I was running.
But if you do the Stroud quest, where you get the artifacts by doing the meeting inside on Neon inside the Astro Lounge, you actually have an option at the end of how you want to do it. If you choose the diplomatic route and not kill everybody route, which for me is my go-to, a business deal is made, and if you go to the Eklund Stroud place on the main area of Neon, you can actually purchase the engines. It's the only place you can get those engines if you unlock them.
I've heard rumor that you can get them if you do kill them at a different location, but I haven't been able to find it, so I don't know if that rumor's true.
I haven't heard that one or seen that one yet. But they're nice. They have 18,000 thrust. Maneuvering thrust is 8,000. And what makes them great is just like the 6330s, they take a power of 2, so you can put 6 of them on your ship. And that is exactly what I think 8-Bit Oliver did to get his maneuverability at 94.
Yeah.
Because they are very powerful. You can get more powerful engines, but if you look at their power consumption, they're 4.
Or it's
4
like
power
even
bars.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah.
So that when you do the math on it, when you stack the fact you can get 6 of those instead of 3 or 4, it makes a world of difference.
Oh yeah, and they're not bad looking engines either.
No, they're pretty cool, and they got that look where you can pretty much put them in unique places and spaces and really make them look interesting. Or like what 8-Bit did and have them stacked in a pyramid like that. It was really neat.
Oh yeah.
So those are definitely, without a doubt, the best engines in the game. They are a pain to get. Like, I have never done the diplomatic route yet.
It's actually an easy option.
Yeah, he's talking about the point of the quest where you have to go into the tower because they impounded your ship. You got to try to get it out of impound from them and stop this little beef with them. Yeah, I never even got close to doing a diplomatic solution. I wound up killing everything.
Killed them all.
Yeah, I went in there and I say my options are when he says you're outnumbered, I'm like, look how good your guards did so far. And then the next option I choose is the diplomatic one, just to make myself look like a real bad mofo.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
I had to watch my language.
You did
Yeah.
good.
And those engines are extremely expensive, so you got to have some cha-ching to
70,000
deck out
each.
with those. Yeah. Now the grav drive, this is arguably, because I've seen it go two different ways, but this one's my personal favorite. It's the J52 Gamma. It cost 118,000 credits to get it.
Whew.
It's
Change.
expensive. It's Starship Design 4, rank C, level 53 is the minimum level to get it. And it's
Now, is
found... Huh?
Is that 118,000 with or without the commerce part?
That's without. That's standard, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how things are going to go with my new character, because I have commerce at level 3 already.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's
you'll
going to be
notice
interesting.
things are a lot cheaper.
Yeah, that percentage, even though it looks small on paper, makes up a big difference, especially when you're building your ships. It can save you $100,000 easy altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this one can be found pretty much everywhere. Most vendors, most of these actually, you can find at most vendors. It's only like the aesthetic stuff that really need to go to specific vendors to get. And the reactor is the Pinch 8Z reactor. It's a Class C. Everyone should know about this one. It's ship design 4, and it's the only reactor that has 40 power available. And that, again, you can find that at most places.
Also, there's also the a reactor skill in the science tree, I believe, that will let you boost the power output of your reactor too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't remember what the max is you can get with that one, but it's like 44 or something like that, 46, which is stupid useful when you have a maxed out ship and you want to get as much power into it as possible.
Yeah, you still can't max out everything and use it all at the same time, but you can get it pretty solid.
Like most things on this list, that's also stupid expensive. I think it's around 8K.
Yeah. The best parts are always the most expensive. That's
Not always, as one of these parts in here is not the most expensive. But we'll get into that. You guys can take over anytime you want if you want to talk about any of these.
I'm just wondering why you have 2 shield generators on this list.
Yeah.
Because I messed up. The bottom one's actually the good one. Not that one. I meant to delete that one, but I didn't. Yeah. So the EM weapon, Rook can talk about, or you guys can.
Yeah, the weapons kind of, in my opinion, are, I guess, just that. It's all opinion. It's how you like to run your ship. If you're trying to take over ships, obviously you want more EM weapons so you can disable them and board them. But like, if you just want to straight blow them out of the water, then you're going to go for more like your 25 MEV alpha turrets and your missile launchers and your auto cannons to just blow them straight out of the water. So
Well, these are the best in class, basically, for the type of weapon they are. Like you just said, the Obliterator 25ME Alpha turret is one of those ones that costs a lot of money. It requires ship design 4, but it's by far the most powerful turret in the game. It has a low fire rate, but for what it produces, makes up for that.
I don't usually go for low fire rate weapons myself, including my turrets. I usually stick around the 4 or 5 range because that gives me enough time for the meter to recharge and fire again without running out of power from the weapons. My particle weapons I'm using, that's the way it works, is they'll drain and then recharge. I fire that fast, but I'm doing continuously firing and not actually...
Yeah, I'm like that too. I like my higher fire rate. I don't really run turrets. I run everything that's on my command. I don't like auto turrets for my ships.
yeah, I like to run like... I like to cycle between the 3 weapons, which usually keeps it to where one of them's up at all times to shoot.
It depends on the weapon. Like, there's some that are way better at taking out shields than others. So I'll focus on the lasers and focus on those. And then as soon as their shields are gone, I'm launching missiles and my machine guns as much as possible at them at a high rate. I love my missiles. Those are my favorites.
So I started leaning towards particle weapons because I found out that they drain shields and hull at the same rate, but it doesn't cost me more for the weapons. so I can just focus on cycling those 4 weapons and focus my money elsewhere on the ship, so I don't have to actually worry about the power draw from those weapons. So if I showed you my Razor Cat, you would literally see 1 row of weapon fully charged, and then 2 blank ones because I don't need it. So it lets me keep max power in my shields and my engines and my weapons without me having to jump through fluctuation.
Yeah, my favorite missile launcher is the ATL as the 280C.
That's my favorite too. I love how fast they fire and how much damage they do.
They do insane damage to the hull. Like, you get that shield down, all you gotta do is launch a volley of that. If you have 4 of them on there, it wipes them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if you have points into missile command or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
That one does so much damage.
They are 50,000 a pop, but worth it.
Yeah.
Now, just for everybody to know, when we're talking about pretty much the only things we put points in is to unlock those designs. It's just testing weapons without modifying our skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run the ATLs on my primary character.
I have it on my main too.
God rest his soul.
The Jolly Roger, my guns out ship, has those, running 4 of them.
Now, I'm trying to build a battleship with turrets, and I want to put missiles on it, but I keep draining all my available power for turrets.
Turrets are actually, like, a lot of people don't like to use them because you can't control them, but they are so strong. You just got to make sure they're pointed in the right direction, but they are so strong.
I don't like them still. That's my preference on them.
When I first built
in that battle, with the Crimson Fleet battle, the last battle that you do where you're, getting attacked by tons of ships, I could literally just fly through the middle of all of them, and my auto turrets just take everything out. Everything just melts. It was so easy with auto turrets.
The only thing I wish I could do is command them to fire and then command them to stop firing.
Yeah, they'll only fire on things that are attacking you.
Mm-hmm. If I could command a fire mode on them, then I would love the turrets even more.
There's an autocannon, the KE-49 Alpha, is considered by a lot of people to be the best weapon in the game for a ship. And they're inexpensive. They're only 4,500 credits a pop.
Yeah,
but you got to be level 60.
Fire rate on them.
Yeah, insane fire rate.
Fire so fast,
and they chew through a hole.
Gotta be level 60 with Starship Design 4.
Yeah, that's one thing about them. Same thing with the suppressor weapon, the EM level. You have to be level 60. Starship rank 4. But those ones are expensive, and they have a huge range.
I run. Forgot what they're called, but I run the EMP 1000. Once I unlock that, I stick with that one for EMP because EMP weapons bypass shields. They deal direct damage to the component. They do 1 point to shields and 1 point to hull. That's it. So
yeah, they're designed to go after those components.
Yeah, but now let's be honest. I haven't used an EM weapon on my Razor Cat. It's primarily particle weapons. But I've actually gotten really good of getting myself behind the enemy, doing the target lock, and blasting their engines. Granted, they're barely alive when I'm done, but hey.
The Tatsu 501 EM is considered the best because it has an 800 range on it with 100 EM damage.
A lot of the times you can take out their weapons and stuff before they even get close to you.
Yeah, before they get in range.
They can't do nothing to fight you back, and they're just sitting ducks. Well,
again, though, those are expensive. Those are about almost 24,000 a piece.
Now, there's a few Class A's that work just as well. You can get the EMP 200 suppressor, which is actually not bad. It does 42 EM damage, but that's only Class A. And let me look at the stats on it real quick.
Well,
it's only a level 30 requirement.
While you're doing that, the shield generator that I cannot recommend enough. And now the thing about shield generators is it's not just the amount of shield you get, but how quickly they can refresh. That's a big part of it. And the Assurance SG-1800, it's a level 27 Starship Design 4. You can find it at most vendors, is by far the best when comparing both the amount of shield and the refresh rate of that shield.
Yeah, most people just look at the shields and are like, "Ooh, this one gives me the most." It refreshes pretty slow, so you want this one's got the best of both worlds.
Did you find it, Rook?
Yeah, I just told you it was level 30. That was the one thing. Then I hate they put level caps on some of these early class weapons, but you don't want to be overpowered early in the game.
That's true.
But yeah, right. I like them. They're good.
Other than waiting for this content patch to hit, and me and the guys will be talking about the next contest and when we're going to do it and what the reward's going to be. So if anyone wants to sponsor the show and give us a reward to give out, that's awesome.
That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. But Javon, congratulations again, and you will be getting that book from me as soon as I get your information, sir. And that's going to wrap it up. We didn't really get any emails this week of worth note, so we're going to go ahead and end that here. And don't forget about our Discord, guys. Discord.gg/Raw Podcasts. That's with an S. Podcasts.
And also don't forget Raw and Nerdy, our other show. It's all things nerdy, not just Starfield. We do talk about Starfield a little bit every now and then on there, but we get into everything from video games to books to tabletops to movies to television shows, just everything. So,
our last episode was a pretty big one where we're doing a series of main topics. And what are you going to say, Rook?
I don't remember now.
Sorry. But we compared, we talked about video game to movie adaptations and how most of them are a huge joke and others were actually kind of decent. So yeah, take a listen to episode 3 and have fun with it.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say now. It's recommended. If it is nerdy, we probably talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. And we do bring on guests periodically, and which is always fun to get another perspective in. We had our own Venus in with us on episode 2. She did fantastic. We'll be bringing her back at some point, so stay tuned for that. All right. If you guys want to reach out to Starfield Raw, you can do it through email, starfieldraw@gmail.com. You can also reach out to us on X, a.k.a. Twitter, at Starfield Raw. And the same with Facebook, Starfield Raw. See the pattern here? And for me, individually, you can follow me on Twitter at TheWidget, TheWigit.
You can reach me at Rook213.
And you can find me at TheArchon606.
Keep enjoying the stars, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good week, guys.
Keep flying, everybody.